Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga ɲɛmɔgɔ Assimi Goïta ye politikitɔnw bisimila bi kuluba masakɛ dagayɔrɔ la. O kɔrɔ ko di? Aw ni ce, aw danse. Welcome to another episode of Kuma Bakolo, the show where we try to break down and understand Manding as it is spoken in the real world. In this episode, we're going to be looking at a headline. Ne togoko kolman noi adama jaloye farafina. Note, if you're completely new here, think about subscribing to the YouTube channel, and otherwise, ankata. One last thing, do you need a little bit of extra help with some of the material that we cover in this video? There's a link down in the description below that can give you access to vocab, audio flashcards, and exercises that go with everything that we cover in this and every video in the series. So, oko Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga ɲɛmɔgɔ Assimi Goïta ye politikitɔnw bisimila bi kuluba masakɛ dagayɔrɔ la. O kɔrɔ ko di? What does that mean? So let's have a look at it. So first, I picked this article from RFI Manding Kang. So let's just have a little look at the actual article itself so we can get some context. So we have the sentence, then we have a picture of what looks like a general with their mask on. Donc, aleye jonye. I think everyone recognizes that this Assimi Goïta here is a proper name. So okoro kodi u aleye jonye. So Assimi Goïta if you have been living under a rock, then you might not know that Assimi Goïta is actually the current leader of Mali. So he is responsible, or he's now responsible for the country after the recent coup that took place. Aiwa. Donc, c'est ça. Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga ɲɛmɔgɔ Assimi Goïta ye politikitɔnw bisimila bi kuluba masakɛ dagayɔrɔ la. O kɔrɔ ko di? O kɔrɔ ko. Well, if we start out with Assimi Goïta, let's now start from the beginning. Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga ɲɛmɔgɔ. So I think everyone might recognize the word mogo. So mogo means person, and ɲɛmɔgɔ actually means a leader. ɲɛmɔgɔ. So ɲɛmɔgɔ is leader, but then what do we have about Mali? So I've given you the context that he is the current leader of Mali, but what exactly kind of leader is he? So the word here, Donnatɛmɛ fanga. Fanga, niye fangaye. So fanga literally means strength, right? But the word Donnatɛmɛ fanga is a special one, which I had to look up. You can recognize some of the pieces. They've actually spelled it wrong. It should be Donnatɛmɛ fanga. And if we break down some of the pieces within it, it looks a little bit more like this. So, Donnatɛmɛ fanga. Okorokodi. The other piece of this word that you might recognize is teme. Teme koroko, to pass or to occur. Donnatɛmɛ, don, okoroko day. So if we say don, means a day, and then we have kateme, to pass. So actually, and then if we have na, that's the postposition la, na, right? Which frequently meant in, at, or on. But in this case, it's its own special thing that's used in this kind of word. So if we actually look it up, you can see it in the dictionary showing up here, Donnatɛmɛ, meaning pastime. So here it's in French, so meaning something that makes the day pass, right? So this word, I'd actually never encountered it, which is not surprising because I actually looked it up in the Bambara reference corpus and it only showed up one time, and that's out of millions of words. So one time in a single article, right? So it's not very frequent, but it's used here, and Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga then is used to mean transitional. So the idea of making a day pass. So Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga ɲɛmɔgɔ would mean Mali's transitional leader, Assimi Goïta, all right? So what do we know about him, or what has he done? So what we want to do is we want to find the verb, and that would be bisimila. So bisimila is a word that I think a lot of people would recognize if they're familiar with Islamic practices or if they're Muslim themselves. So for instance, if we say bisimila, it literally means in the name of God or by the name of God. It's something that people would say before undertaking some sort of work or labor, entering a room, about to enjoy a meal. But in Bambara, it has actually become a verb. So if we ka bisimila, it needs a direct object, means to welcome someone, right? So Assimi Goïta ye politikitɔnw bisimila. So our subject here, then we have our predicate marker, ye. So this ye is going to be the past. So Assimi Goïta ye politiki tong bisimila. So here's our direct object. Who did he welcome? He welcomed politiki tong. So politiki, I think a lot of people recognize that, means politics. Politiki tong, so a tong, right, means a group. And if we put a W on it, then it's become plural. So political groups or political parties. So Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga ɲɛmɔgɔ Assimi Goïta ye politiki tong bisimila bi. Sinite kunute bi. Bi koroko today. So if we say bi, that means today. And then where did he do this? Where did he welcome the political parties? So Kuluba. So Kuluba, if that's something that you don't recognize, is actually a proper name. It refers to a place in Mali, and it is this place. So it actually is the presidential palace, which is on a hill overlooking most of the center downtown of Bamako. So if we go back into our document then, Anko Kuluba. So Kuluba, frequently in French, you'll see it spelled like this. Haketo. Anko Kuluba. Aiwa. Dong okoro ko the place named, well here, we would normally, they've written it like this in Bambara, but it's Kuluba. And Kuluba actually means big hill. So actually the palace itself is related to the fact that it's posed up on top of a hill outside of, or at the, looking down upon downtown Bamako. Aiwa. So it was at Kuluba, but then why do we still have the rest of this? So Masake Daga Yorola. So Okorokodi, Namba Foko, Masake. I think a lot of people will recognize Masake, and that is because Masa is actually the word for a king. And so it is a name that also shows up in Mansa Musa. So one of the possible ways to say it is to say, Haketo, Namba Foko, Masa. Some people will also say Masa, historically and in a lot of scholarship writing. So this would mean a king, right? Masake, that K, that suffix there, just means male. So male king, kind of redundant, just meaning male leader or ruler. And then Dagayoro la. So the word Dagayoro, I'm familiar with the word Daga. It actually, typically, if we look in the dictionary, for instance, Okoroko barracks, right? Daga meaning a barracks, but they've used it in a very particular way in this instance. When they say Dagayoro la, they mean, it seems to mean that they're talking about the palace. So Daga meaning barracks and Yoro meaning place, right? So here we're going to put palace as in the presidential palace. So king and Masake Dagayoro meaning presidential palace, or literally king's barrack place, right? Aiwa. Namba be faranyongo kan. Mali Donnatɛmɛ fanga ɲɛmɔgɔ Assimi Goïta ye politiki tɔn bisimila bi. Kuluba Masake Dagayoro la. Okorokodi, Okoroko, Mali's transitional president Assimi Goïta welcomed the political parties today at the presidential palace of Kuluba. Aiwa. Nala sona video ni diara aoye. I hope that you got a kick out of checking out this headline. I'm going to try doing this weekly for a while and see how you all like it. So, auniche, kamben.